Humans are about to land on the moon again, and this time it's not just a quick visit. The last time anyone stood on the moon was during Apollo 17 back in 1972. That's over 50 years ago. Think about it for a second. Entire generations have lived and grown up without ever seeing humans walk on another world. But now, with Artemis 3, that's about to change. And what makes this mission just so important isn't that we're going back, it's how we're going back, where we're landing, and what we plan to do after we get there. Because this mission could be the start of humans living beyond Earth. So let's start simple. What is Artemis 3? It's the first mission in over 50 years that aims to land astronauts on the moon. But unlike the Apollo missions, this isn't just about proving we can do it. Back then, during the Apollo program, the goal was to win the space race. Now, the goal is completely different. Artemis 3 is a part of a much bigger plan to build a long term human presence on the moon. So instead of just landing, planting a flag, and leaving, NASA is thinking about staying longer, using local resources, and eventually building infrastructure. That's a huge shift in mindset. This mission is basically the bridge between exploration and living in space. One of the biggest differences with Artemis 3 is where the astronauts will land. Instead of landing near the moon's equator like Apollo missions did, they're targeting the moon's south pole. And this is where things get really interesting. Scientists believe that deep inside the craters near the South Pole, there is frozen water, ice, that's been there for billions of years. These areas are in permanent shadow, meaning sunlight never reaches them. That allows ice to survive in extremely cold conditions. Now you might be wondering, why does water matter so much? Because water changes everything. Water can be drunk by astronauts, split into oxygen for breathing, and then even turn into hydrogen fuel for rockets. So instead of carrying everything from Earth, which is expensive and limited, we could use what's already on the moon. This idea is called in situ resource utilization. Basically, using local resources instead of bringing everything with you. And if this works, it could make long term missions not just possible, but practical. Now let's break down how this mission actually works, step by step. First, the astronauts launch from Earth using the Space Launch System. This is NASA's most powerful rocket ever built. They'll be inside the Orion spacecraft, which is designed to carry humans deep into space. Once they reach space, they travel for several days until they reach the moon. Then they enter orbit around it. But here's where it gets different from Apollo. They don't land directly from Orion. Instead, they need a separate landing system most likely developed by SpaceX. This lander is much larger and more advanced than anything used in the past. Two astronauts will transfer into this lander and descend down to the surface. The rest of the crew stays in orbit. After completing their work on the moon, the astronauts launch back up, reconnect with Orion, and return to Earth. So instead of one simple spacecraft doing everything, the mission uses multiple systems working together, and that makes it both more powerful and more complex. This mission is also important from a human perspective. NASA plans for Artemis 3 to land the first woman and the first person of color on the moon. That's a major change from Apollo. It reflects how space exploration is evolving to represent more of humanity and not just a small group. And that matters because this next era of space exploration isn't just about one country, it's about all of us. But none of this is easy. Landing on the moon is already difficult. Landing at the South Pole is even harder. Some areas are in complete darkness. Temperatures can drop extremely low. The terrain is uneven and unpredictable. And on top of that, the mission depends on brand new technology. Everything from the rocket to the lander has to work perfectly. That's why delays happen, because this mission isn't just about getting there, it's about doing it safely and doing it right. Here are a few things that really put this mission into perspective. Some of the ice on the moon's south pole could be billions of years old. That means it could contain information about the early solar system. The landing system is far more advanced than anything used in the 1960s, and the astronauts may stay longer than previous missions, allowing for more exploration and research. So we're not just revisiting the moon, we're discovering it in a completely new way. If Artemis 3 is successful, it could mark the beginning of a permanent human presence beyond Earth. Not just visits, but actual living, working, and exploring. And after that, Mars becomes the next step. So this mission isn't just a return, it's the start of something much bigger. The moment where humanity begins to move beyond our one planet and into the rest of the solar system. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thank you. Bye.